Here we go. This is going to be a long one. I'm going to make an interface for a messenger. So I'm clicking onto the mobile category in Illustrator and choose iPhone X, or maybe I can do iPhone 8 since it's smaller, it's fine. And I need to recreate the interface here. So if you have done this before, creating Illustrator files for After Effects, you probably know that you'll need to separate everything on different layers, which makes the whole process quite painful. Let's get started. So I'm creating a rectangle for the backdrop, and I'm copying pretty much what I see on WhatsApp, which is open on the other screen. I create one layer at the back, which I'm going to rename as BG so that I recognize it later in After Effects. And I'm going to lock it so I don't have to touch it all times. And then I create a new layer. And in this new layer, I start creating the speech bubble. And at the beginning, I just play around with what I can see and just try to replicate what I see on WhatsApp. I see a green box, slightly, I'll say, darker and desaturated, or maybe a little bit more saturated. Yeah, probably this is what I see on the other monitor. And I created a rectangle. So then I switch from the black arrow to the white arrow. I click in the corner and I make the corners slightly rounded. And then I also want to add the pointer that indicates that I am sending out this message. So I select the pen tool. And then from here, I create a triangle, something like this. And then I select the two layers together. I click onto the shape builder, or with the shortcut Shift M. And then I click and start dragging from this shape to the other shape to the other shape. And all of them become one shape. Then I drag it all the way to the corner here, sorry, to the side of the rectangle, and then hold down Shift. And then every time you see me moving items on the stage like this, I'm holding down Shift and then clicking one of the directional arrow. In this case is left arrow, 1, 2, 3 times, it means 30 pixels. And then I drag and drop this element holding down Shift, alternate and Shift as I do so. So it creates a copy which is vertically aligned. And then in the transform panel, I click flip horizontally and I drag it all the way to the left. And then I do the same thing, Shift, and then this time arrow right. And then 1, 2, 3 is 30 pixels from the edge. And then I make it aligned with the speech bubble. And then one time or 2 times, 20 pixels down. So I've created the 2 speech bubbles from the top, and the second one, I want to make it gray. So I'm going to drag the color picker towards the left. So it's still in the range of green, but the saturated version of that green. I've got the 2 message speech bubble ready. Next, actually, I think I might have done them a little bit too big. So I want to make them slightly smaller. Select with the direct selecting tool only the bottom vertices, and then Shift arrow up to make it 20 pixels smaller. And then do the same thing I've done before, align them holding Shift so they don't move horizontally, but then 1 and 2 to move them vertically. So I got the 2 speech bubbles ready. I just need to add the message now. Hey bro, what's up? Type it and overlap it. It's way too small. I need to first of all make it white, and then I need to change the the kerning alignment to optical, and then change the font to, let's say, Open Sans. And then make it bigger, let's say 30 pixels. This is too big, yeah. So let's make it 20 pixels. Let's see how it looks like. Yeah, this could work. And then I align it all the way to the left, and then Shift arrow right, 1, 2, 20 pixels from the edge, and then select the 2 items together, and then one more click on the speech bubble so it remains the anchor element, and only the text will move. When I click vertical align center, only the text will align centrally. do the same thing here when my friend replies to me. I'm gonna align it all the way to the left edge and then shift arrow right 20 pixels to the edge. I think I'm going too far with this one probably. So let me select these 3 elements and then 1, 2, 3, make it shorter. And I'm going to do the same thing here with the direct selection tool, 1, 2, 3, 30 pixels shorter as well. And then my friend replies, all good. I am watching a movie. Okay. And I do the same thing with the alignment, select the text, select the speech bubble, one more click on the speech bubble, align vertically, and then I will reply this message. So I select the 2 items, drag them down, holding Shift and alternate. So I make a copy and then Shift arrow down to make a 20 pixels gap. But this time I want to have a larger window because I want to quote his reply. So I drag down my text a bit and I want to have a quote bubble, which in WhatsApp is pretty much something like this, a rectangle within a rectangle, and then with the rounded corners, and it's less rounded, probably, yeah, like this. And then the color is going to be the same, but darker. So I pick a darker shade of green like this, and then I'll need to make the quote line, which in WhatsApp is done, is highlighted in blue on the left side. So I'm going to select the same layer. I will do copy and paste, Command C, Command F, paste in place. And then I'm going to take the scissors and I'm going to cut here and here. And so I can remove the right side, select the left side, and then pick blue to highlight that area. It's a bit too long, so I'm going to select these 2 vertices using the direct selection tool, the top and the bottom one created by the scissor tool, and then align them vertically first so they are perfectly aligned. And I also click on the pen tool and close this shape because the scissor tool kept it open, and then select the 2 of them once again and move them closer to the edge. So that's how WhatsApp quotes a message, and this is the message that I'm quoting from my friend. I have to bring it all the way up, so I'm going to hold the Shift, Command, and close square bracket to bring it all the way to the top. Select the text message, and then select the background. Click one more time on the background and align them vertically, so only the text will move. Then align the text to the edge and Shift right arrow twice, so it's 20 pixels away. Actually, it looks like that when I quote is not that far, so I'll do it only once. And also the text is not purely white when you quote, it's darker. So this is the quoted answer. And I think we've done pretty much everything when it comes to the text. Oh, yeah, I have to type a different answer. What movie are you watching? So in WhatsApp, there is the timing on the bottom right for both the sender and the receiver, but the sender also have the check mark that shows when the message is sent, sent, received, and read. So here I'm going to type 5:36 p.m., which is the time now. And I'm going to make it much smaller. So if this one is 20, I want to make it maybe 14, 13. Yeah, 14. Let's try 14. And I'm going to drag it all the way to the left side of the speech bubble and then Shift arrow left once, twice, 3 times, say 4 times, because I will make room for the check mark there. And I also want to space it from the bottom. So I'm going to drag it to the bottom here and then Shift arrow up, which is 10 pixels. And then I come back 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's only 5 pixels up. And then I'm going to do the same here, bring it forward, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 pixels up. I'm going to do the same thing when my friend receives the message. So first align it to the left side, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pixels. Okay, so he's going to reply to me a couple of minutes later, so 38, and I'm going to reply immediately after, 1 minute later, what movie are you watching? Then we're going to have our check marks. and the check mark is done with a pen tool. So click down like this and up like this. Select that triangle and swap stroke and fill, and then make it gray. Okay, maybe not so long on this side. Yeah, something like this. And I'm gonna make it, let me check a conversation where I haven't read yet. Yeah, it's probably a bit darker. So yeah, both the time and the check mark are a bit darker. So I'm gonna select my selection tool, the black arrow, and I'm gonna pick from the patches here, 1, 2, 3, the fourth shade of gray for the fill, 1, 2, 3, 4, and the fourth shade of gray for the stroke. There you go, it's already the correct one. And then I'm gonna make a copy of this one, and the copy of this one is going to be pasted on top of it. Actually, before I do so, I'm going to create a new layer, and I'm going to rename this one, let's say, scent. And then I'm going to copy this layer. Cut it, actually, and paste it onto the scent layer. And then I'm going to duplicate this layer, duplicate scent, hide it so I don't confuse it, and then change it to received. And here in received, what I want to do is to drag this one towards the left, holding down alternate so that it creates the double check mark. I also want to make sure that when I select both of them, I round the cap here in the stroke. And lastly, I want to make a copy of the received layer, duplicate it, and I'm going to change this one to red. And I'm going to select it and make it a bright blue for the red version, red as in past of read of the check mark. Okay, so we have now the sent one, received, and red. Okay, and so now that I've done so, I think that there are two issues. One is that the timing is too low for all of them. So I'm going to bring them up just a little bit, a couple of pixels. And then for the sender, it's a bit too far from the check mark. So I'm going to place it a bit closer. And lastly, I think the check marks are too big. I want to make them smaller, horizontally smaller, frankly, and also smaller altogether. Holding down shift so they are proportional, and there you go. So now I've got the check marks. I'm gonna make a do I need a duplicate of this one? Well, what I'm wondering is this one, that later when I animate them in After Effects, I will want them to be already in position. So it's a bit lazy what I'm going to do, because technically speaking, I could use the same one here, the same 3 layers in Illustrator later on in After Effects to move them down there, or make a duplicate layer and have them already in place. Yeah, I think I'll do that. I'm lazy. So I'm going to say duplicate selection. So I have a second copy of this layer, which I call read copy, receive copy, and send copy, and make sure that I position them in the right point in the second message. So I think I have all the elements for the interaction that's going to happen later in After Effects. Only thing missing is the picture of my friend and the top part of the background, which is not going to move. So I'm going to select this layer and then copy and paste it, and then drag from the bottom only the header here. And I'm going to change it to a lighter shade of gray for the fill here. And then here, maybe I want to take all the layers and move them slightly down so that I can have a larger bar at the top, save, and let me import a picture for the avatar of my friend So actually, I will use the generic one. So I'll make a circle, and I make sure that I'm still on the background layer, and then make a circle here. Make sure it's on top, and make it in a slightly lighter shade of gray. And then I create the generic user picture for my friend. And that is done by double-clicking this circle. So I enter in group mode and then making a copy of this one. So copy and paste, which I will use later for the clipping mask. So for now I can hide it and then select this one. I make another circle here, holding down Shift, and I will bring it to the front and I make it yet lighter. And then select the two of them. One more click on the circle below so that I move only the small circle, which is the head of the user. Maybe slightly bigger and slightly lower. I do that one more time, align it. And then I want to have a circle below here, much bigger than this one, which is the body. I hold down alternate, so it's already aligned. And that's where my extra copy of the circle comes into play, because now I can show it again, bring it on top, select this layer, and then Command 7 on the keyboard to click that path. And I've done the avatar of the user. And then I'll type the name. So I take any of the text layer that I already have, and then I'll type Mario. Make it bigger. And then I need to have the alignment vertically. And I want to make sure that this Mario actually is on the background layer, because this layer will not change. And I will lock it actually, so I can't change anything there. And slightly smaller. And on the left, sorry, on the right-hand side of the bar, we have 4 icons. One is the one that is used for the menu. I'm going to take a rectangle tool, make a rectangle, rotate it by holding Shift 45 degrees, then select it, pick the scissors, which is the shortcut C, and I click on the 2 sides and remove the top part. I'm left with a triangle, invert the fill with a stroke, select gray. I think I want to use the same gray which I used for the background. So this one, sample it, use it for the stroke, and then around the cap and increase the stroke to 2 pixels, make it smaller. Actually, it's been too dark. I want to make it now lighter. Let's see if this one works. Yeah, I think this one works. And then I will align it to the center. Okay, the next icon I need is the magnifier. So a circle and a stick. I could use the same as this one. Hit the center, yes. Okay, so I delete this point, I don't need it. Okay, and then I take the top part and drag it back. So now I got the magnifier, the menu. I want to make sure the magnifier is aligned horizontally. It is. And then we got one vertical line, which is slimmer than the stroke that I used before. So it's 1 pixel only. I also want to align this one vertically. And we've got the phone and the camera. So let's start from the camera. I'm going to make a rectangle. I'm going to change the corners to be rounded. And then I'm going to need another rectangle. And this rectangle, I'm going to take the top corner and move it down 1, 2 pixels. And the bottom one, I move it up 1, 2 pixels. And then I'm going to make it more compressed like this. And there we go, we got the camera. And then I need to make the telephone. Oh, the telephone is going to be a little bit of a pain. So I'm going to start from a rectangle. I want to use the same stroke. And then I'm going to round the corner slightly. And then I'm going to carve into this one a copy of itself, like this. And it's going to be smaller for sure. Something along this line. So yeah, something like this. And then I select these two shapes. And then with the shape builder, I remove this one. And then with the selection tool, the direct selection tool, I want to pick this and these vertices and then round this one. And then I want to select again these vertices. And actually, it's easier if I do it in with a double click so that I don't select anything else. And I want to bring them closer like this. And then I want to bring these two vertices down so that it makes that indentation for the receiver. Yeah, something like this. 1 pixel down, 1 pixel in, 1 pixel up, 1 pixel in. And then overall, I want to make it a bit more curved. And so I need to add a new vertex in the middle. And then I will select the one on top, the one below, and move them slightly towards the center. And then that one that I created in the middle, I will add two Bezier curves to make it even more round. And I think I'm done. Yeah, it's a bit edgy here and there, but it's okay. It's just for the sake of illustrating it. But maybe if I want to be extra precise, I could, I think, remove these two vertices, or at least rotate them a bit. Yeah. So I can select this one and this one. If I remove them, yeah, actually, if I remove them, they look quite okay. I just need to stretch this one a bit more and stretch this one a bit more after removing this one. All right, so we've got our telephone receiver. Just getting too particular now, yeah. I want to make this one also into vertices with a slightly more curve feeling. Okay, that's it. I'm not going to be too particular. I think it looks like a receiver enough. I just hold Shift, rotate it. No, I'm not with holding Shift. It's not so rotated. It's about 30 degrees. Okay, and then I position this one over here. So we've got the receiver. Align it to the middle. I've got the camera, which is two elements. I want to make it not so long, a little bit shorter. Okay. And then also I want to round the corner of the second element here. Not so much. Okay. So select this one, group them so that I can align it now vertically. Okay. Let's see if it looks like the one I got in WhatsApp. It does. It's just, I think they are all overall a bit too big on this side. So I'm going to make them slightly smaller. More to the left. Sorry, more to the right. Also this one more to the right, and also this one more to the right. That's it. Okay, so I think I've got a pretty realistic interface. One last change. I think that all these text is not 100% white. It could be slightly on the gray side. And that is where I'm gonna duplicate the bar, drag it all the way to the bottom here. And then I need to have the emoji face. So it's a circle. I want to use the same stroke that I'm using up there. So it's exactly the same. And then I'm going to make another circle. And then this circle, I'm going to intersect it with a square. And then select the two of them. And then using the shape builder, shave off the top part. And I'm doing the smile of the emoji. And this one has to be a little bit smaller stroke, so 1 pixel only. And then I'm going to make two circles for the eyes, which I'm going to fill with the stroke instead of the I'm going to fill instead of stroke. Yeah, that's what I wanted to say. and make them a little bit more separated, group them together so that I can align them to the head, and do the same with the smile, align it to the head. And there you go, we got the emoji icon here. And I think the smile is a bit bigger. And maybe, yes, maybe it's 2 pixels as well. Yeah, I think this one will work. I also need to have the staple there. Is it called staple in English? Not 100% sure, forgive me. But I'm going to start with a rectangle, and then I'm going to have this rectangle to be cut at one point here with the scissors, and then I select these 2 layers, bring them in, and then these 2, I call them layers, but I meant to say points, these anchor points. I do the same with this one. This one has to go down pretty significantly, yeah, for example. And then this one continues. So I start from here, continue and continue to go inside, almost at the same point. And I want to have these 2 a bit closer. And then I can select all of them. And then with the direct selection tool around them, and then this one to be closer. And then maybe this 1, 1, 2, 3 to be higher. Double click to enter in isolation mode. So these I want them to be higher. And then double click to exit the isolation mode. And then this one and this one, I want them to be more curved. All right, so maximum curve, and also this one more curved. Correct. Now I've got the, is it called staple? I think so, yeah. Staple probably is the one that you punch holes in the paper. I don't know if this one's called staple, probably not. But anyway, you got what I mean. And then rotate it. I think this one's rotated 45 degrees. Yes, it's 45 degrees. And then I'm going to make it smaller. This for the attachments. And it goes here. Save. And then lastly, I'm going to have the message area, which I'm going to do according to either the color of the background of the avatar, or according to the background of the message. Let's see which one matches. Yeah, so I'm going to make a rectangle first, which goes from here to there, around the corners slightly, and then pick whip. I drop this color. No, probably is this one. Yeah, this one is better. And then I would need some text to go there. So cut it from that layer, paste it into the background, and type a message. And then this one has to be gray. So I'm going to make it, let's see if it works with the same gray as the icons. Yeah, it works. And the font is correct. So all I'm left with is to have the microphone. And then I think I've got everything in the interface. So the microphone is done with a rectangle with the same stroke actually of the other icon that I just created. And then around the corners, before around the corners, I want to make it a bit slimmer. So around the corners now. And then there is the same shape, copy and paste. Copy and paste with letter F, so it pastes it on top, and I make it slightly larger like this. And then I make the corners even closer. So select the 2 of them, and yes, like this. And then with the scissor, which is the C tool, click to remove this one and click to remove that one, then delete. So I remain with the bottom part only. And then from the middle, I'm gonna pen tool the base of the microphone. And so we got the microphone icon. Select all of them, 1, 2, 3, group them, and then make them smaller. But then remember to sample again the same width of the stroke from the other icons already there. And that's it. I think I've got everything I needed for the interface. Let's see how it looks like. Yeah, it looks like WhatsApp, I guess. It's important that I label every layer correctly as they are going to appear on the screen. So I've got one background, which is the one that's going to be there at the beginning of the animation. And then I've already done the layers for the check marks, but I don't have the layers for the messages. So I'm going to have the same layers of the text being typed on the message itself. So let me unlock the background, cut this text, and create a new layer called type area. And in the type area, I paste this one. And then the next thing I need to do is to have message number 1. I'm going to cut it. I'm going to create a new layer, and I'm going to call it message 1 and paste in it. Then I got the second one, cut, message 2, select it, and paste in it. And then message number 3, cut it, and paste. Okay, so now nothing should be left in layer 2. Yeah, correct. I got nothing on layer 2. I can delete it. One thing I want to do later when I animate, I want to get this message slightly moved to the left, which begins the reply, and it quotes the text. So I'm going to make a new layer. So copy this layer, create a new layer, and then quoted text, paste it here, and then pull this up here, and then drag down the message that I'm quoting over here, which in WhatsApp shows a bit more to the left, actually, is aligned here. And there is also a X in case I want to undo quoting the text. And for this X, I will use the same stroke that I have for the options icon. And then Command C, Command F, rotating it, holding down Shift. So it goes 45 degrees at a time. And then select the 2 of them, group them, make it smaller, and then align it with the message that I'm quoting. And then why not also align it with the microphone. Good. So this one is the quoted message, and it's darker actually. It's supposed to be black, or yeah, really black like this while I'm quoting it. So I've got message number 1, followed by message number 2, and followed by message number 3. Okay, I can save the file now, and I will see you all in Adobe After Effects.